right, welcome to a special Monday edition of the Fragments of Silicon Reviews, mainly due to unscheduled hospital stops, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, 4 reviews up for the week. The first is Ye Old World, or I suppose it's Yow, Ye Old World. Like, okay.
One of those is accurate.
Well, it's more shouty.
Fair.
You know, like at least on the Steam page here, it's more "Yo, ye old world." It's all caps. So, that aside, is a new gaming experience. I don't know about that. 3D representation, physically very correct, object destruction, and intuitive organization with fun potential in the game. Catapults, targets, opponents, projectile arsenal with a simple to painful that makes playing fun. I'm like, prepositions, use them. Anyway, so Ye Old World is a catapult game, which is a rarity, but I can't say that Ye Old World is the first catapult game that has ever existed in the annals of time. I mean, perhaps it is the most detailed catapult game that has been made to date. I don't know, it's not a rich market. But yeah, and how the game works is, well, you know, for a lack of better terminology, it works like a catapult game. As in, you have a catapult, there are targets, you have to break them down with said catapult projectiles. And yeah, you know, I'm assuming you're in this is sandbox mode.
Yeah.
Because he's playing the demo, but in the game proper, there's 3 modes. There's sandbox mode, which, as the name implies, you know, it's unlimited everything. You know, it's basically practice mode, I think. And the real meat of the game is in mission mode. That's where things are a lot more limited. Not so much in terms of ammunition. You've got your base shot, you know, the base rock catapult. The unlimited projectiles there. There are specialty balls, if you will, that are limited, like this metal thing that's much more damaging. You only get like a couple of those per round. And there are others that are unlocked, like there's the lava ball that comes to mind. And there's like the multi-ball, and so on and so forth. And you know, the thing that's limited is time mission mode. You're given about 2 minutes to break down either like the wall, the building, the target. Pretty quickly you'll be introduced to the mage tower, which protects the target building with a shield. You got to break those down first, and then also pretty quickly this game will introduce curveballs, like a really large wall that isn't really breakable. Like, it's sort of breakable, but you know, you're not going to be able to tear it down in 2 minutes. You know, that kind of thing. And that's where you want to use the free aim mode, so you can see around it. Because, you know, the inherent challenge with the mission mode is, you know, being able to destroy the targets in the amount of time allotted. You know, and I gotta admit that implementation's a bit mixed. That's mainly due to how the catapult works, because it works like a catapult. That is to say, you've got to aim and adjust. You're given 2 meters. You can see them on the screen here. You're given the angle and the amount of power, and you might hit a building, but it's like the corner, or it's a light hit, and you gotta adjust, and you gotta figure out. It's kind of like putting in golf. When I think about it, it's like you gotta make the subtle adjustments, which can be really annoying sometimes, because sometimes you're too subtle. Sometimes you're now aiming above the tower, and also it takes a bit of time for the projectile to fire. So granted, I was having some performance issues on my computer. Like Mission 5 was literally unplayable because there was too many objects, but I think that was more of a me thing. But yeah, Petty's kind of demonstrating what I'm talking about here. It's like trying to adjust to hit the target. And finally, there is a third mode, which unlocks a bit of the way in, which is the Balloon Hunter mode, which is kind of like the Type C mode in old Nintendo light gun games, in that it's pretty radically different from the other modes, but not so much where you could release it as its own thing. And yeah, the Balloon Hunter mode is you're bringing down balloons, but instead of using a catapult, you're using a ballista. And if you don't know what a ballista is, think of it as basically a very big crossbow. So you've got a straight aim instead of the arc that a catapult delivers. And that's a bit more straightforward and arcadey. And as far as how this all comes together, it works well enough. I mean, I'm not going to say this game is amazing or anything, but it's really good for a catapult game. It's just it's perhaps a little too elaborate for what I want in a game of this nature. Like I said, having all the subtle adjustments of a catapult and breaking down walls, a bit tedious in my opinion. But like I said, it still works well enough. And yeah, as far as the graphics are going for a surprisingly cartoony style, almost cell shaded. Which may not be the expected track of something that a catapult simulator, let's say. But they also didn't go full anthropomorphic either. Like the cannonball, as far as I know, the catapult isn't alive.
Give the internet time; they'll make it happen.
I don't think the internet cares enough.
Fair.
Anyway, music was okay, if unmemorable. I'm having a real hard time remembering anything from this, which is always not a good sign.
Petty, are you talking onto the thing, but you're muted to us?
I don't think so.
Can you not hear? Okay. Anyway, so the game clocks in at $12, $11.99. I think that's a fair enough value for what you get here. 50 missions, 3 modes. It'll keep you occupied for a good chunk of time, I think. Yeah, I just don't have a lot to say about Olde World. it is what it is. So, yeah.
Physics objects go burr.
Go smash.
Sure.
Anyway, so that'll about do it for Yow here. Be sure to tune in after the break, as we'll be talking about, or Petty Fan will be reviewing Salamander County Public Television.